Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the daily show that is Marv On Air. And oh my God, dude, bro, what is going on in this studio? First off, I feel like the mics are way louder. Someone was messing with the mics for sure. And also, so I guess I got to be way the hell back here because I can't figure it out what happened. Dude, I actually have no idea. And then also, my computer had to restart and update OBS. So I apologize to everyone, all 0 of you guys. If you were waiting, I'm not trying to discredit you, but I do realize the size of the channel. Yes, we were trying to go live at 4. I don't know what happened. Okay, regardless, we are live now, thankfully, and it is Thursday. I think it's the 16th of November. So hey, let's go. We're rocking and rolling. I had a bit of a sad epiphany today. It's gonna, so tonight, obviously, Thursday Night Football, right? That means we're gonna be starting week 11. Only 7 games left, guys. We've been through 10, we've only got 7 left. Feels like the season just there's no sense of time. So I want to take a second for everyone in here to realize, hey, we are over halfway through the NFL season. Well, at least through the regular season, and obviously with postseason and playoffs and stuff. It's gonna push it. But then, I was just thinking the other day, man, once the Masters comes, that'll be cool, and then March Madness and all that. I don't even really dread the end of football anymore. I dread August, September, or August, June, maybe a little bit of July. There's just nothing really going on, and especially that time between the preseason and the regular season. That time just stinks. So just want to take a second, have you guys realize what we're in the middle of here. What are we dealing with exactly? And it's a great time to be a sports fan. That is for sure. We've got NBA heating up. We've got NHL in the middle of it, and we got the NFL in the actual middle of it. We're actually a little bit past the midway there. And then the MLB, I think, so that's over, thankfully. Speaking of the MLB, they're looking to, decrease the shot clock or whatever, the pitch clock. That's interesting. They're going to go from 20 to 18 seconds when there's runners on base or something. And to me, I don't know. I would imagine for a baseball player, that's got to suck, right? I don't know for sure. Never pitched. Well, I did pitch in 7th grade ball. That year we didn't win a single game. So I don't know if there's a correlation, but I do know for a fact that I was not meant to be a pitcher. So I don't know the exact effects that this would have on a pitcher, but I feel I don't know. It's kind of what we thought before this last season, and then we saw times decrease, and everyone loved it. So I actually did watch a full baseball game this summer. Thought it was pretty snappy. Really did. I honestly thought it kept the pace up. Then apparently towards the end of the year, times were starting to increase yet again. Not quite to what they were, but definitely increase. And I guess it was people were saying that, these pitchers and batters are starting to figure out how to game the clock, give them some time, what works best, all of this. So they're decreasing the amount of time between pitches allegedly when there are people on base. And I don't know. I guess there aren't set in stone rules for that, obviously, because that's way down the line. But it's something to keep an eye on. Definitely keep an eye on that. And then also, I want to ask a question. What the hell is the NBA in-season tournament? Because, obviously, consider myself a sports guy, right? I'm out here. I'm literally just looking for people that know sports to talk to because I don't know anything else, okay? So people are like, oh, yo, did you hear about this? I'm like, what? Unless it's, did Snoop Dogg just quit weed? Which is the only thing that appeared on my timeline today besides sports. No, I don't know what's going on. So when someone says to me, oh, you know basketball, right? I'm like, yes, I do, sorta. Not really, but I know it more than what's going on in Ukraine or whatever. And then they're like, oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, what? What is this in-season tournament doing, dude? First off, I do know about the Draymond Green situation, so I'll tell you guys about that a little bit. Obviously, Draymond Green choked out Rudy Gobert of the Timberwolves, got him away from an altercation, decided to use the choke. Wasn't exactly sure why that was the go-to. on that one. I honestly thought there were. I mean, I know it's Draymond, but I feel like there's definitely better ways we could have gone about that. Got a 5-game suspension, one of the biggest suspensions Adam Silver has handed out. Apparently that's noteworthy, but I was honestly surprised it was only 5. I honestly I was like, it's either gonna be like 10 or it's gonna be 0. I don't know what's gonna happen because I was kind of like, he's kind of low key, like he's not really trying to fight Gobert, he's trying to pull him away. So apparently that's the 5-game suspension was strictly because of his past with unsportsmanlike conduct, and well, there's no way you can argue that. I mean, every single time it's Draymond got in the middle of something, and every single time it's, oh yeah, we're gonna cite his previous offenses. Like that's how many there are. So that makes complete sense. But as far as what else is going on in the NBA, not really a whole clue, because I honestly, God, I am just so confused by the in-season tournament. I don't know if I'm in college, right? I don't know if you guys have ever had this in a class or in like a homework assignment or in your job. Maybe it's happened to me a little bit in my jobs that I've had, where you're like, that the job is not that hard, but there's like one thing or the assignment where like, yeah, it's not that hard of an assignment. There's this one thing that you don't understand at all, so you just like don't want to just get anywhere near the rest of the assignment or the workload, anything along those lines. You're just like, yep, I don't know it. I just can't wrap my head around it. That's me with the NBA right now. It's not that hard. Like, I know what the NBA is. Trust me. I understand. I've been watching, okay? I just can't, it's because the in-season tournament has me confused. I just can't comprehend anything else, and I don't really understand what the psychological side of that is, but I just am so baffled at what is this. So if you guys know, put it in the comments. I'm trying to keep an eye over there because last time we had some people in the comments and I missed it, which I feel bad. So I'm going to try to keep an eye out for that. Honestly, maybe I'll just pull it up right here so we can keep an eye on it. But I don't know what the in-season tournament is. Somebody explained it to me today. Apparently they're having play-in games, and then they're just going to do it all the way until December, which right now it's November, so I don't really understand how that's even possible. But regardless, it's putting a cloud over the NBA, and I can't wrap my head around it. So if you know, kindly appreciated. Not really sure what's going on there. I'm going to dive right into what I do know, and that is the NFL, okay? Now, last time we did this, and I'm going to do it again, just because, guess what? I don't really know anything else. Really just I only know the NFL is what I'm saying, but I have markers, and I have a whiteboard. I think that's pretty cool, and I try to use it when I can. So I'm going to go ahead. This mic is so turned up, I can literally talk into it like this. If it sounds like crap, tell me. But it's kind of stupid. I don't know if this sounds good or not. So check this out. I'll show you guys how it's done. I'm going to speed run this. Ready? Time me. 5, 4, 3, go. Boom, halfway there. Boom. Like this. Like that-ish. I don't know. And then I think the rest is black. Speed run, speed run, speed run. I'm having to do this from memory due to the speed run aspect, so hopefully this looks good. I have no idea what the Ravens logo looks like, so we're going to try. I don't even know what to do. I don't think I have a yellow mark. Do yellow markers exist? It's like a like a highlighter for whiteboards. I don't think those exist. But done. I gotta be done. I don't know what that is, but if you weren't able to figure it out by now, it is officially Bengals versus Ravens tonight. Try to clear it so you guys can see what I came up with here. And it's going to be a great game. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm excited. It's an AFC North game, so big implications as far as playoffs go. Yesterday was a bit of a crazy day, so obviously I wasn't able to completely keep you guys up to date, but Deshaun Watson broke his shoulder in his last game, so not going to be playing the rest of the year. He's got surgery. So while that is important, the AFC North right now is just completely up for grabs. Ravens 7-3 lead it, and then the Steelers and Browns are tied at 6-3. Bengals 5-4 in fourth place, but really only 2 games back. So what's crazy is just how slow the Bengals can start every single year, and somehow they stay in it. I don't know how. I really don't know how. There we go. I just saw that on their logo. They've got a little B on there. It's not the best logo, but it's going to get it done. So, yeah, this is a big game, obviously. I think we can count the Browns out, unfortunately. Not that Deshaun Watson he wasn't necessarily the best quarterback for just period. I think it's pretty clear now the Texans won that trade, and I'm not really sure why Browns management paid him $230 million in guarantees. Definitely a puzzling move there, especially after not having seen him play for a couple of years. But regardless, that's the situation they're in. They're in a bit of a sinkhole here. I think it's like $63 million in cap hit next year. Not exactly ideal. They can't really just get rid of that. So the point is, I think the Browns are done for this season. Sure, they're going to win, like 4 more games, whatever, out of the 7. Maybe they win 3 or 4 out of the 7, just under 500 in the remaining schedule. So let's say they get 3 more, right? And they're at 9, so that'd be 9-8, just over 500. I think the Steelers can do a little bit better than that, or the same. And then I think the Bengals will, they're the Bengals, right? They're going to peak at the end of the year. And the Ravens obviously have a very, very good squad. So I really think the Bengals, they obviously have to do really well the rest of the year. But they're obviously coming from behind, and I think it's really a 3-man race right now. So as far as how big of a impact does this have on the division, it's not going to change the Bengals from third to second. It's going to change the Bengals from first to second to first here. This game, I think it's a big game as far as that goes. But I don't know if there's anything overhead in this game. I honestly didn't get a chance to really dive in to injuries. I can pull it up, but it's not even worth it. So as far as the spread, I will pull that up because I'm going to make a pick here, and that game starts in 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, 3 hours almost. So let's see here. Okay, interesting. We've got the Ravens -3.5. I know this is a horrible viewer experience for you guys. I really do apologize. Not really makes sense that no one's in here. It's on me. It's on me. It's completely on me. I don't know what you guys want to see out of this show. I don't blame you at all. Okay, so Ravens -3.5. This is a bit surprising that obviously the Bengals, later in the season, it's pretty standard for them to be taking points, but they're getting 3.5. So I think what I'm going to do here is let's pull up the Bengals' last 5. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. First off, the Bengals. Okay, they are 5-4 at this current moment. Okay, at this exact moment before tonight's game, they are 5-4. They just lost to the Texans 30-27. Then they beat the Bills, who are apparently a poverty franchise, and they did beat the 49ers. That one, we're not really sure what the 49ers are in their last three. Excuse me. They beat the Seahawks before that and the Cardinals before that. Okay, now we know what we're working with Cincinnati. I would honestly say trending down, not exactly looking ideal, okay? Now, let's take a look at the Ravens. Ravens just demolished the Seahawks 2 weeks ago, and then last week they just lost to the Browns. That was surprising. Did not see that coming at all. It's a short week for, I believe, both teams. If you want to bet the under, I'm pretty sure unders are hitting at like a wicked rate on Thursday Night Football, so I might be doing that. But then they were able to beat the Cardinals by 7, and they throttled the Lions. So right now, I have the Ravens as my defensive fantasy. They've been absolutely lighting it up on that side of the ball. Love that. But they have not, against the Browns, what are they doing? They allowed 24 to the Cardinals. That's not great. Lions and Seahawks, they shut down. Yes, okay, cool. But I'm not too impressed. I'm kind of they're a little almost looking a little spotty. Don't love that. So if I had to go one way or the other, I'm gonna go Ravens. It's only 3.5. Sure, the hook might get me, but they might win by 4. They're down 3, score a touchdown kind of situation. Gus Edwards said, quote, "I can't wait for another big load this week. Just said he got a big load last week." Not really sure what to do with that information. Sure, he did have a large workload last week. Did he get a big load? I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. On the field, yeah, I guess he kind of did. So that's definitely something to keep an eye for, especially if you have him in fantasy. He said he might be, getting that load this week. So did well last week with that load. But the Bengals have looked stronger with Joe Burrow and him getting over his calf injury a little bit, moving forward, getting, up in the pocket, stepping up, running upfield. That's what makes Joe Burrow so lethal. Yes, he is very, very accurate, but he also keeps defenses kind of on their toes with his ability to run. So when he wasn't running as much, defenses were like, oh, yeah, I don't even have to worry about it. They can cover a little tighter, and that, every inch matters in the NFL. Ask Gus Edwards. So I'm just trying to say I don't think the Bengals are gonna see that exponential growth that we've seen in the past couple of years. No, I don't think that. I don't think the Ravens are an absolute juggernaut like what we had them previously. Okay, maybe tomorrow I'll tier rank the teams. I might not be able to tomorrow, but we'll see. The point is, neither of these teams, I think, are trending in a ridiculous direction. I think they're both relatively Bengals, I think, are trending slightly down, but it's not one of these. It's not like this is the Browns right now, okay? It's not that. This is the Patriots all season long. But I don't think that's the Bengals right now. I think they're like this. They can easily right the ship. And I've been wrong way more times than I've been right in my life. Maybe the Bengals are like this right now, and because I'm not in the building, trying to line up some interviews. But regardless, I kind of think they're like this right now. Then the Ravens, okay, maybe they're kind of like this. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to take into account anyone's trajectories on these lines, right? Boom, we're going to use the marker board again. Because guess what? I have one. So it's like if this is the Bengals, slightly down, but not horrible. Ravens, slightly up, not horrible. What we need to do is instead of look at their trajectory, look at where I have them. I think the Ravens are up here, and the Bengals are up here. So if they're going to go down slightly, they're going to go up slightly. Then I don't think it matters what their trending is. If they were like this, and then one was going to go down, one was going to go up, I would obviously pick the team that's going up. But I think they're so far different that it doesn't even matter. Okay? I think we have to go with what we've seen this season. We can't go with what I think they have potential to do because I don't think either of them matter enough. I think the Ravens are really spotty. Sure, they might come out, hold them to 0 points. If they do that, can't really win a game with 0 points. So, but who knows? Maybe the Bengals will come out and they will just light it up. In that case, probably going to win, right? So I don't think, and then really what we're trying to do is pick the cover, okay? It doesn't really matter who wins as much as who wins by a cover. So if the Bengals win, then they obviously cover, but the Ravens need to win by more than 4. So I think really it's obviously the Bengals to lose or the Ravens to lose, and I think they can easily win by more than 4. Filbert, this is who I was waiting on. Filbert, Thank you for stopping in. I got the chat up here because I was waiting to see if you were coming back in. Thank you so much for coming by. It makes me feel like I'm actually doing something here. I'm pretty good. I'm not too bad. Today's Thursday. I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about, but I just did my preview for the game. If you missed it, I'm going to put this up as a video. And I'm actually doing these as podcasts now. I'm just going to put them in same audio file so you won't miss much there. If you guys are listening on the podcast platform, and you come by at 4 Central on YouTube, I will shout you guys out in chat. I love when you guys come in. I love getting to talk with you guys, see what you're thinking. Filbert, what are we thinking right now as far as the sports architecture, like big storylines? Obviously, the biggest one right now I have yet to touch on is John Harbaugh accepts his suspension from the Big Ten. He will be out versus Ohio State. That's huge. Okay? Now, I wonder how many dude, has he been sitting for every game this year? Like, does this really matter? Pretty sure he had to sit the first 3. Then he, couldn't be in last week's, which was week 9 or week 10? Probably week 10. So he had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 6 weeks. And then now he's out for another 3. It's like, dude, when are you going to play? Or when are you going to be on the sideline? It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters at this point. I really don't. Tom Brady bet one of his Super Bowl rings on this with the Ohio State quarterback, or maybe it was Marvin Harrison. And so I don't think people are freaking out, all the Michigan fans, justice for Harbaugh. Does it matter, though? Does it? Does it really? I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. He's been on the, suspension off the sideline enough this year. I think they know what's going on. I think they're going to be okay. Okay, so this JMU thing, what is this? It's just popped in my feed. So is it James Madison Dukes? Okay, so I did see that they might be eligible if there aren't enough 6-win teams. What did they do to get suspended? Do you know? Obviously, I'm looking at their scores right now. They are pretty dominant. They just beat UConn 44-6, Georgia State 42-14, and I'm guessing that they're undefeated, first in the SBC. Is this like a UCF thing over and over again? They're 6-0. They've won 10 straight, so dating back to last year. What are we looking at here? I personally don't understand the ins and outs of bowl games, people giving themselves suspensions and stuff like that. I don't really get. Why would you self-suspend yourself? That's a head. I'm literally scratching my head subconsciously. That doesn't make sense. What? They can't play a bowl game for the first 2 seasons in FBS. Oh, now that is bullshit. That is. So, JMU apparently not allowed to play in a bowl game in the first 2 years after transferring from FCS to the FBS. That's not right. I'm not gonna lie. That doesn't make any sense. If you come in and you just play well enough to get a bowl game, why? What is? And especially if I saw that article correctly, where it said they were just gonna allow them to play if there weren't enough 6-win teams. If you're allowing them to play if there's not enough other 6-win teams, why won't you let them play if there are? That doesn't even make sense. They're not gonna get a New York. What is it? New Year's Eve 6, the new 6, after the new year. I don't think they'll get into that. I saw that people were even if they do get in one, it won't be that. I think that's bull. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think they earned it if they're 6-0, especially if you just. And I almost wonder if because they just jumped up, it should be worth more. What's the big deal if wouldn't they be playing harder opponents, or am I just missing something here? I don't really understand the ins and outs, I guess, because to me, if you jump up and you succeed right away, you didn't need to take that time to get better and accommodate to the new opposition, right? You were just yeah, we're this good. We'll kick your ass anytime, anywhere. Oh, you want us to play harder opponents? That's what it takes for us to get into bowl games? Okay, fine. Then they're yeah, but okay, you're winning a little too much. You're gonna have to wait a few years until these guys cycle out, and then you're in the FBS, and then once you start to lose, then you're eligible. What? No. I'm with you on that one, Philbert. I think JMU's got to get in on a bowl game. But to be fair, is the NCAA going to listen to a guy who's one sub away from 450 subscribers? No. No. It's just not. They're not. But, so what is my opinion worth? Essentially nothing. But as far as my actual take on it, I will say I think JMU deserves that spot. If you go 6-0 and they're beating good teams pretty handedly, I feel like this is one of those where it's the same people who thought UCF shouldn't be in the bowls or in the playoff when they went undefeated for like 2 years in a row. Those people that are saying they shouldn't be in the bowl games there are the same people here that are saying they shouldn't be in this bowl game. Like, I thought UCF 100%. It's like when TCU was in the national championship game last year. A lot of people said they didn't deserve it. Well, they did. They just suck compared to the opposition. Georgia completely ran them over. So like that's just what happens sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? People want to avoid that all they can, and I don't blame them. I really don't. You obviously want a close game everywhere, but that's going to happen from time to time. Some team's going to get exposed, but they deserved to be in the position where they could be exposed, right? Maybe JMU comes in and plays like Oregon in some random bowl game and they get ran. Will that happen? Absolutely not. Trust me. I know that's not going to happen. But let's say it did. Then people will be like, this is why we can't have JMU in the New York 6 or New Year's 6 or whatever it is. I keep butchering it. Well, that's like the exact reason we do have it like that, actually, is because that team deserved to be in that position. That's like saying if who's at the top, like if FSU, right? They're top 4 right now. If FSU goes into the first week of the college football playoff and gets beat by 70, okay, they just weren't ready to play. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. You're not gonna be complaining then, right? People were complaining about TCU because they're like 10th in the Big 12, then all of a sudden they're first, and well, they didn't win the championship, and then they get screwed, or not screwed. Jesus, they just get obliterated. People complain, shouldn't have been there, and then where are they this year? At the bottom again, but they deserved it last year. So I don't understand what the question is. That's really all I can say on that because I don't know. I wish I knew college football better. I used to have co-hosts who did know college football, but everyone was like, every day. I will say I like their colors. They look a lot like Loras. If you know what Loras College is. Loras is in Iowa. So yeah. So I've hit on the NFL. We got a big game tonight. I officially did pick the Ravens -6.5. Let's throw that up here. -3.5, excuse me. Definitely don't want to take them 6.5. Honestly, it's kind of the same. The hook's underneath 7, so like it's not the end of the world. But that was my pick for NFL. Then NBA, very confused on what the NBA is because of the in-season tournament. Can't seem to wrap my head around anything in there. NCAA football, John Harbaugh, not really sure why it's a big deal he's sitting. JMU should probably get a bowl game. Thank you, Philbert, for that point of emphasis. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, please do send me articles that you want me to talk about. That would be like the biggest help ever because I do have full-time class schedule, so it's hard to find these articles on what I want to talk about. And then the NHL, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on that. I know people don't want to see it. I want to talk about it, but I also haven't dove in enough to really cover it, so that's on me. What else is left? Is there anything left? MLB. Actually, I did talk about MLB. Talked about the pitch clock. So, with that being said, I think that's all I got for today, unfortunately. I'm really still working out how I'm going to structure these episodes. I appreciate you for stopping by, Philbert. That's very cool. Very, very cool of you to stop by. Share it with your friends. If you guys are watching on YouTube now, subscribe. If you're listening on podcasts, whatever, follow or whatever you guys do on the podcast. Rate it, give it 5 stars or whatever you think it's worth. I probably won't be on tomorrow. We got to go see that new Hunger Games movie, so I'll tell you guys how that goes on Monday. Thank you for stopping by, Philbert. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the football before it's over. I love you guys, and thank you. Oh, that's what is this? Oh, I'm surprised that works. I can't read this far, guys. Is it this one?